Hi, this is Jed Wonderly, and it is another episode of the Utah Sports Report where we'll be discussing last week's game, which doesn't bring up happy memories, but we still got to discuss it so that we can, kind of commiserate with one another and try to figure this thing out together. Of course, we're also going to talk about the upcoming game and how we're going to beat UCLA, because that needs to happen. Absolutely needs to happen. So we'll get into it right after this.
And they'll run it, Jordan! Ty Jordan! See you later! Touchdown, Utah!
4 seconds, 3 seconds. Back to Van Dyke, deep three up. And good! It's good!
They just need this to finish their best beam rotation of the year. And look at Ford, says, get on your feet.
All righty. Before we get into this, this is my fourth time trying this, actually. I've been interrupted by 2 phone calls, and a family member came in and interrupted my last attempt. So this is my 4th attempt. I've actually went all the way through the 2 phone call, the videos where I had a phone call in each of them. Didn't realize it would mess it up, but it threw the video and audio off sync. So finally figured that out, and now, got most of the way through my last video, and my family member came in and interrupted, and so here I am, take 4. So I need a red recording light outside of my room to alert people that I'm unavailable. So, sponsor of the video is me. I'm the principal lending manager for Noble Home Loans. I've been doing mortgages for about 27 years, so would love the opportunity to talk to you about any of your mortgage questions, any of your mortgage needs, and that type of thing. I've got a website that I'll put the link down below that has lots and lots of information. I designed the website to be very informative and not sales oriented. I want to earn your business by being able to help educate you and show you the kind of service that I'd provide. So there you have it, and that's all for that. All my information will be in the link below. Also, please like and subscribe, and love to hear your comments on some of the things we're going to be talking about right now, and share your videos. And if you got any BYU fans, share it with them. I'd love that. That would be kind of fun. They'd probably say mean things, because that's how BYU fans are. But at any rate, let's get going on this. Okay, Saturday's game against Oregon State. First of all, their running game was every bit as good as advertised. We stopped them the first couple of times, got that lead going up 14-0, Zippo, zilch, and that didn't last long, unfortunately. I mean, it lasted decently long, but we had a lead going into halftime, but they came out in the second half and did to us not quite as bad as what we did to Arizona State the week prior. So anyway, let's talk about a few statistics that I think are important to understand. That'll help explain a little bit about what went on and what we might be facing this week. So Josh Furlong, who works for KSL, did some research, and he came up with a few numbers that are very telling. So the first number is 129. That's the number of games Kyle Whittingham has been a head coach at the U. And of those 129, 18 is the next number we're going to talk about. That's the number of times a school has rushed for 200 or more yards against us. Now, of that, 4 is the next number we're going to talk about. That's the number of times we have won when teams have rushed for more than 200 yards against us. So we obviously don't do nearly as well as we would like when we give up over 200 yards. Now, Oregon State is the number 1 rushing team in the conference, averaging about 245 yards per game before they played us. That number went up after playing us, which is another anomaly. And I say another anomaly because the first anomaly is the fact that we have now given up over 200 yards in 3 different games this season. BYU, San Diego State, and Oregon State. Oregon State gained the most on the ground against us, and that was 260 yards. That's 15 yards above their average. And so that's an anomaly because typically we're in the top 3 in rushing defenses in the conference, and typically we hold teams below their rushing average. This year, not quite so much. So they obviously gained 15 yards above their rushing average. And another number to be mindful of is 7. We are the 7th ranked rushing defense in the conference, which should tell you how off our run defense is this year. And, Whittingham addressed that in his, he acknowledged, one, that we're not where we want to be, and we're going to take some lumps for it. And he basically said, expect it. Oregon State game wasn't the end of it. And guess who has the number 2 rushing offense in the conference? It's our opponent this Saturday, UCLA, averaging 206 or 208 yards a game on the ground. And they've got a great back in Chardonnay, number 24. Keep your eyes peeled for him. I know our defenders will, and hopefully they'll be able to stop him more often than not. And they have a pretty good offensive line. They also have a quite mobile quarterback who's also not a bad thrower, passer, whatever term you want to use. The Dorian Thompson-Robinson did get injured at the end of last week's game, and so I haven't heard whether or not he's going to play. I'd like to beat teams at full strength so that there's no excuses, but it is football. We're not going to be at full strength. Of course, Lloyd is out for the first half because of his targeting call, and we have other people that are injured and whatnot, but let's, I'd like to beat him at full strength, but he certainly poses some big problems for us because he's a great runner, very good runner. I think he's better than Jaden Daniels. You may disagree with me. Other experts might disagree with me. I say other experts as if I'm an expert. Hey, but are all those other quote-unquote experts themselves? I don't know. Where do you get certified to be an expert? Is it when you get paid for doing stuff like this? I don't know. Anyway. So, the DTR is tough to contain, and he's got a good arm, and accurate for the most part from what I've been able to see. And he's got some good receivers and a heck of a tight end to throw to. So, their offense is probably going to be up to the task, I believe. I just hope our defense is more up to the task. And I hope that our offense can certainly find some holes in their defense. Like I said, they're the number 1 rushing defense. My hope is that Tavion Thomas is healthy, and that we'll be able to have a nice balanced rushing attack. And that will help to open up things in the throw game for us, passing game, for those of you who want to go that route. And I hope that that we're going to be able to, be a little more efficient than we were in the red zone last week. Last week we were 4 for 8 in terms of touchdowns in the red zone. We had 2 times when we were first and goal and didn't get it across the end line. So one of those doesn't really matter because on their ensuing possession that they took over from from their 2-yard line or something like that, their quarterback fumbled at like the 19 or something like that. We recovered it and scored a touchdown just shortly thereafter. But we definitely have to score. Kyle said he'd like to see touchdowns at a 75% clip, and I think that's fair. Not that he needs me to say I think that's fair to validate what he wants, but at any rate, the other thing that needs to get fixed, and Kyle also acknowledged this, is our special teams. Our punt protection was absolutely horrible, and we had 2 punts blocked. One of them thankfully didn't count because of a penalty. We were able to get a first down on that, and so that was all good. I've got the sun coming in my window, so if my face is getting washed out, that's what it is. That might be a good thing though for you guys. I don't know. So anyway, hopefully they get that dialed in and get that fixed this week. We definitely need to have that taken care of. We can't be giving up touchdowns. I mean, if we don't give up that special teams touchdown, and if we score a touchdown on that other time where we were first and goal and didn't get in, we win that game. So yeah, and there's a couple of other things that we could have done better that would have helped as well. But because we lost, and because Oregon State is in the mix for and tied with the other first place team, Oregon, for the North Division title, I'm kind of leaning towards cheering for Oregon State to win out, or at least to win the North Division. And if we've got a tougher road ahead than anybody else in the South Division, anybody else who's a contender, that is. And if we could do whatever it takes for us to win the South Division, I'd be very interested in taking on Oregon State at the new Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. I think that would be a fun rematch of a game, and I think we could take them. They're a good team, no disrespect to them. I'm impressed with their running game. They were 14 for 19 in passing and got 206 or 208 yards, whatever that was, and they played an overall good game. They had that linebacker, I can't remember his name. He's a dad though, and it looked like a cool guy, had a cool hairdo and whatnot. But not that matters. But he had 16 tackles, and that does matter. He was a good player, and so I would like to take them on again. But we've got a tough road ahead. We've got UCLA this Saturday, and if we can win that, we're favored by 6.5. If we can win that, do what we need to do to get that victory, we'll be 4-1 and really in the driver's seat. UCLA will have 3 losses. Arizona State, they are 3-1, so we're tied with them currently, but we own the tiebreaker on that. I think Arizona State could very easily lose to Oregon State. I'm going to be rooting for that because we could also very easily lose to Stanford on the road, because you never know which Stanford team is going to show up, and we could also very easily lose to Oregon at home. Now, hopefully we don't. A lot of FPI, I think it is predicting us to finish the conference season 7-2, which means only one more loss. That might get it done. It would get it done if Oregon State beats ASU, or if ASU loses to USC, and I think that game's at USC toward the end of the season. There's also one other team that has a chance of beating them. But at any rate, that's where we're at. Let's take a look at a few of the other games that are going on this Saturday. First of all, my prediction for UCLA at Utah. I'm a homer. Unabashedly a homer. And I'm going to go with Utah beating UCLA 38-31. The over-under is 60.5. We're favored by 6.5 points. That would cover the spread. I would love to see us keep UCLA in the 20s. Arizona State kept them to 23 points. So if we could do that, there's no reason why we can't, especially after, with a little more fire in our bellies after giving up 42 points to Oregon State this last week. So if we could do that, I think we definitely win, because I think we'll put up 30 plus on UCLA. I think our passing game will have a nice day on Saturday. So there's that. I think Arizona State will have no problem with Washington State. They're also favored by 15. That's at ASU. I think Oregon will have zero problem with Colorado, and that's at Oregon. They're favored by 24. Do you think they're going to cover the spread? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Also, anything else that, that I've talked about, if you've got some thoughts that are either with me or, different than mine or whatever, mention them down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Oregon State at Cal. They're favored by 1.5 points. I really, Cal's 2-5. I really think that Oregon State should win, even though it's at Cal, by more than 1.5 points. Cal does have a decent run defense. They are one of the top teams against the rush. So it's strength against strength. So that will be kind of an interesting matchup. Arizona is going to be 0-8 and 0-5 in conference after losing to USC. USC is favored by 21. It's at USC, so that'll be interesting to see whether USC covers that. I'm going to say yes, they're going to cover it. And then you have two teams that people are all going, what the heck is going on with them? And that's Washington versus Stanford. At Stanford, Stanford's, you never know which Stanford team is going to show up. The one that, has won a couple of decent games or the one that's lost some head scratchers. So, and Washington is just like, why are they so bad this year? Although they looked good against Arizona in a bit of a comeback. Arizona, though, they're winless. So can you look good against them if you don't beat them by 20 or 30? I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. So that's my prediction. Well, I didn't say. I'm going to go with the underdog on the Washington-Stanford one. I'm going to go with Washington. They're dogs by 2 points at Stanford. So there you have it. That's my take. Love to hear what your thoughts are. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video, all that kind of good stuff. And appreciate you watching. If you're still watching now, double thumbs up to you. I really like that. And we'll see y'all hopefully after a victory on Saturday night next week sometime. Make it a great one. Take care.